Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thursday Takeover. We're back once again, myself and Luke, and we have a special guest this week. We have Lewis. I feel like I'm in a knockoff show for the Red Men TV, the way this is right now, the setup between Lewis and Luke. But yeah, we have a lot to cover today. We're going to go through, obviously, Liverpool's a little bit of a resurgence last 5 games. There's a lot of talk about he's going into a very big game this weekend against Spurs at Spurs Stadium. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, I think it's called now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, a lot to talk about. There's obviously some injury concerns. Szoboszlai might be picking up a little bit of niggle. We'll hear more about that from Arne Slot tomorrow. But yeah, a lot to talk about, a lot to get into. Let us know your thoughts in the comments about anything that you want to chat about. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe to the video. But, lads, how are you?
Good. Well, Liverpool have won a few football matches, so we're doing okay, aren't we? You know what I mean? That's just how life goes, really, isn't it? Just sort of the life we live. It's just game after game after game. And if we win, everyone's all happy. If we get beat, it's a terrible Christmas, isn't it? Let's be honest. So let's hope we keep it rolling. You all right, Lewis?
I'm good. I'm a bit annoyed there's no Boxing Day fixture this year, I won't lie.
Mate, tell me about it.
I sound like it's ruined my Christmas. That, and like I said before the stream, to make me look like a fat git, the mushroom I found in my meat feast calzone really irritated me. But I'm good. I'm happy that we're on a good run of form. Feeling a bit more positive than I did about 3-4 weeks ago. So yeah, overall, no major complaints, to be honest.
Yeah, no, it's been I know it's been a bit of a weird Christmas because usually we would be in this round of the EFL Cup, so like you kind of the fixtures are constantly coming. But it's actually been nice to have a little bit of a break. Like Luke, you're up and down bleeding all over Europe going to games. So I suppose you getting at least a 1 week off, you're happy out.
My credit card bill at the moment is absolutely ludicrous. It is ludicrous.
You're racking up them points. Racking them up, racking up them credits, mate. But yeah, there's obviously a lot to talk about today. But I suppose with the week off, I suppose it has been a benefit, I would say, to Liverpool. We're obviously carrying a few injuries, but we finished off on a high last weekend, and it was probably one of the best performances of the season, just because of everything that's gone on. We have a few injuries, and then we obviously got to see some really good performances from some key players. But yeah, how are you feeling about Liverpool at the minute? Do you think it's like a little resurgence, or is it something bigger? Could they potentially be finding form again and going on a run? I'll let whoever wants to take it go first.
Go on, Lewis, you're the guest.
Oh, thank you. No, I think it's the issue we've had is with the losses that we've had over the past couple of months. The main problem I've had with it is it's never felt as though there was a plan or there was any sort of like when we were losing games in a row under Klopp, like we lost 4 in a row a couple of years ago, 2020. You could at least see the plan that was being implemented. You could see the style of play. You could see that even though we were in a rough patch, the odds are we were going to get out of it the other side with some sort of progression into what comes next. We haven't seen that a lot this season. Now, for the first time under Slot, I'd argue this whole season, we're seeing a progression in his style of play. We're finally seeing a bit of an evolution where at points it's felt like when plan A is not working, there has been no plan B. It's just the plan A works or bust. Now we're seeing midfielders compacting the midfield. We're seeing fullbacks who are being played to their strengths. We're seeing strikers who are being played to their strengths. We're finally seeing the fruits of our labor, so to speak, over the past few months, and players actually playing well. So what we're seeing at the moment's positive because it's different from what we've been seeing, if that makes sense. It's not just we've picked up a fluke win like Villa maybe, where we played the same way we always do. It's just they played into our hands. This is a Brighton team, very good in attack, have dismantled teams in the league over the past couple of years. We've only beat them 5 in the last 13 meetings between us and them. It was a big win because the biggest compliment I can give us is that we looked like ourselves again. And that's what we've not had for a good number of months. And I'm proud of the fact that we went to Anfield and we went out there aggressive. We went out on the front foot and we looked positive and we looked like we weren't willing to sit back and let them have all the ball. So overall, I don't think it is a flash in the pan. I think it is a sort of more calculated approach. It is something that we're going to see progress into a more sustained level of success maybe over the next few weeks. Hopefully, I could come back to bite me on the arse, but I'm positive. I'm positive is the short version of that.
I'm hoping
Where's
we're
your
all
head
on
at,
the same,
Luke?
Sorry, yeah, I'm hoping we're all on the same page because I'm with Lewis as well. I'm hoping we have now turned the corner. We had the false turn, as we did the little sort of, we thought we were back. We had the blip, but that's something we've spoke about so much on this show, Jamie. The change in style of play and having to get used to it, because essentially last season we did play, we control games better, but we did set up sort of to be run a lot, put the hard yards in, almost very similar to Jurgen Klopp. But essentially that wasn't Arne Slot's philosophy and not the direction that he wanted to go in. And the signing of the big number 9 sort of said that he wanted a new focal point in the team. And we spoke about how it's going to be hard to adjust that. I know Lewis goes the game every now and again, and like the atmosphere in the stadium as well. Sometimes it does feel like a lot of frustration when we're sitting back, but that's just the way we're going to have to. That's the way we're going to have to get used to him playing. And if it brings results, nothing matters. If you're winning football matches, no one talks about it. It's only when you're not winning football matches or you're drawing football matches that stuff sort of comes up in question marks. And it is going to take a bit of time. If this was last season, we'd probably all be sat here and be quite pleased. Like, we've changed managers, we've done okay. It's just winning the league is somehow holding him back from revolutionising the style of play, which is ludicrous to say.
Do you think with the difference in style of play, if he had tried to change it last season and we were getting these results, like you were saying, I know you said there that that we'd probably be a little bit not happier, but we probably may take it with a bit more of a pinch of salt. But I don't know. I think if a new manager had came in and he hadn't won the league, I don't think he would have got as much leeway as he has this season. Because like, what was it, 9 losses in 12 up until we've gone on this run. So I don't know. It's kind of, it is a flip of a coin, because I think a lot of, especially like online fans, like I think they jump at the chance to like change a manager after those run results.
Yeah, I think you're right, but I think it's more the fact of, like, for example, if he didn't win the league and we knew there was going to be a lot of change that was going to happen, we knew the style of play was going to be different, I think we would have been more lenient with him. I still think last season we don't sack managers, he still would have been in the job no matter what happened. So I think I understand where you're coming from, but I don't wholeheartedly sort of agree. Like, I understand the point you're making. That's the argument with a lot of the online fans. You understand the point they're making, but you sit there and you scroll to it and you're like, I get it, mate, but like, I see where you're coming from, but you're just wrong. You are just wrong.
I think I don't know what your opinion. Maybe because we're Liverpool fans, we're obviously not, like, especially the era I grew up on. Like, when my kind of first manager was Benitez. I remember Gerard Houllier a little bit, but it was more Benitez. But then we obviously had him for a good stint, and then we went through like a few managers with Hodgson, Dalglish, Rodgers was there a while, and then obviously Klopp came in. So like, for most of my like adulthood, and for a lot of, like, say, you are obviously a little bit younger than me, but like we've had Klopp as a manager, and as you said, we don't sack managers. So I think that's something that I always feel is like, it's wrong. It's the wrong thing to do. I think like it probably to our detriment, they should always get more time than they should have. But like, yeah, I think that's just like the right way to do it sometimes. I think like sacking managers, you're constantly having to change, constantly different messages coming in. It makes it more difficult, I'd say, long term. And like, you see that with other teams, like you see Spurs obviously going through a little bit at the minute. Obviously United have gone through it, and like, it doesn't look like they're coming out of it anytime soon.
No, like the United ones, I think, is the best example, because you end up with a team that's like a Frankenstein of several different managers' tactical approach, whereby when like Solskjaer came in, he had Van Gaal players, he had not Ten Hag, Moyes players, he had Mourinho's players, he had like a hodgepodge, and he had to find a way to make it work. And for Liverpool, it's notoriously not something we do. We will back Brendan Rodgers the season after we won. We didn't win the league. We finished second. He was given a large amount of money. I was going to say, nearly won the league. He was given a large amount of money to reinvest. Didn't work. We ended up finishing 6th, I believe, that season, the one with the infamous Stoke match. He's then given another 100+ million to reinvest in the summer, the season after that, and then he gets sacked. Notoriously, we will back managers. And I think Slot this season has been burdened with the fact that only 2 managers in our entire history have won the league title in their very first season. And that's Joe Fagan and Kenny Dalglish. They're the only 2 managers who have ever done it before Slot did it. That is immense pressure. And neither of those 2 went on to retain the league the following season. They both finished second. So for Slot now, who set the standards so high for himself, we don't know how to gauge this because this is new to all of us. It's never happened in our lifetime, having a manager come in, win the league, and then where'd you go from there? It's always been a steady upward slope to get to that point. So I never expected him to come out. Well, I expected it given what we'd signed. I thought he was going to come out and blow the league away, but I didn't think it was going to get to the lows that it did. So I'm just happy now that there's signs of it picking up. That's all I wanted to see during this downwards patch is signs of improvement.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we are starting to see those improvements. I suppose a big thing that's been made up of all the questions that we talk about Liverpool this season. And a lot of people obviously question Slot, and rightly so. But I think a lot of the time you do have to look at the players that we haven't seen enough of. And I think some of them are starting to find their feet a little bit. I think Wirtz has shown signs, but I think the guys still need to see a little bit more from Kirk's displays. Last few games have been a little bit better. And I think this new formation will actually help him a little bit more rather than having Gakpo, say, just taking the ball and running inside and shooting. He'll have that space on the left-hand side a little bit more. But I don't think we could talk about like the new signings without obviously talking about Ekitike and his performance, especially against Leeds, and then follows it up against Brighton. Have you been like I'd say a lot of people like myself, I didn't see too much of him in the Bundesliga. Obviously, we heard a little bit about his like underlying stats when he came over. It was the worst XG underperformance of any player in Europe's top 5 leagues. But this season, he's obviously changing that narrative a little bit. What have you made of him so far? And do you think he's like he has that ability to maybe go another level? Like the more he starts to adapt and improve.
I think he definitely does, and he's probably my favourite footballer in the team at the moment by far. He's just so interesting to watch. He had the underperforming XG. We knew that when he come in, and then the sort of name was like, oh, well, he's actually not very good in front of goal. We just bought a new Nunes, and we haven't. We bought an absolutely elite footballer. My hot take on Hugo Ekitike is though.
Ooh, hot take.
I know. I generally don't think. I generally reckon he'll be gone either this summer or next. And I just think that, yeah, I know. No, well, just hear me out, please. I just think that essentially the pages for Hugo Ekitike, I do think the passing of Diogo Jota had something in it, as I said, we're going to be short in legs going forward. And I just think the ROI in Ekitike is there. And if we do need to recoup some money, we're not going to get that money back for Isak. Like, given his performance, Isak could turn up and be unbelievable in the next couple of months. But just given his age and his player profile, and his injury record as well, I think we'd be more looking to sides of him. And I think sometimes that's maybe why we're seeing Isak getting the start over Ekitike in the previous weeks gone by, is that we're trying to bleed Isak into this team and bring out that player that he is. And I don't really know what to structure. I just think Ekitike is that good, but he's that young that if he continues to be good, he is going to be the 140 million sale to Real Madrid in order to recoup some more revenue, whether that's this summer or next. And that's just what I believe will happen in the future. I've changed the argument here because you're asking me how good Ekitike is, but I just really wanted to I just wanted to surprise you all.
Yeah, he's so good. We're going to sell him in this summer or next summer.
I just really wanted to just surprise everyone. That was all.
Wishing it into existence, man.
I'm not wishing it into existence. It's just what I believe will happen.
That is a hot take, and that I'd say there's about 20% chance. I think the way Liverpool maybe operated before, and even like you think about like Coutinho and stuff, and when players wanted to go, they haven't really sold Mane as well. They haven't really sold players unless they've like asked to leave and like they don't want to be here. Do you know what I mean? Like I understand maybe before where we would have sold money. Like I'm going back to like the days of like Suarez, Sterling, but like we're not cash strapped, and like. It's not as if I know, like if you go to Madrid, that might be a step that he wants to take, and then you can't really stand in his way at that point. But I don't know. I think if he finds form at Liverpool and he's like, I'm playing the best football of my career, it's like, why would you want to go and mess that up?
He's also going to be like with the money you're going to get for him. You're going to have to then reinvest in another striker because Isak can't stay fit for long enough to be the main starter.
Yeah.
I think my issue is, and where the argument probably sort of stems from, is I can't see a world where Liverpool play with both of them in the same team. They might do it in the short term. They might alter it, in the coming weeks, especially with Salah going to AFCON this week. You touched on Cody Gakpo there, and Kirkers. Cody Gakpo is going to start playing again. He is. He just is going to start playing football again. Like, he is going to start over this Christmas period, especially, like I said, with no Salah. So, it's just one of that. I don't think Isak's going to sit on the bench for Hugo Ekitike either, but we'll then have to find a buyer for him, and I think the only place we could recoup money is Saudi, and like, is Alexander Isak going to move to Saudi Arabia in like, a summer or two? I highly doubt it, to be honest. I think he wants to stay and try and prove himself.
Yeah. No, I think in terms of the Isak Ekitike thing, that's going to be very interesting just because I think with Gakpo, I don't know how long he's going to be out. I think he might be out till the new year. I think he took out a bad injury. So
it depends
like,
how Salah gets on an AFCON, if he's going to be back before him. But I think they might do okay. And then we'll be.
I know Slot has like a love thing with Gakpo, and a lot of people give out about it. But like, I think Gakpo has done well for Liverpool in the time that he's been in the team, especially like last season. I thought he was one of our best players, if not the best left winger in the Premier League. And yes, he hasn't maybe been performing a lot, but he's very active in games. Sometimes he just makes the wrong decision a lot of the time. But with this new midfield, I don't know. I think he might. I think you could play. You're playing two forwards. That's what he's doing, and he's playing like a midfielder where that's the Szoboszlai, McAllister, Wirtz in like the 10 role, and then he's still keeping the three midfielders. So effectively, we've lost our wingers, and you have like two up front, but like they're kind of similar to the Inter Milan game. They're being expected to like drop in, like out to the wings a little bit, in when we're defending. So it would be interesting because like I think Gakpo could play on that kind of left striker, left wing role. Similar to what Ekitike is doing now. But I think the real loser at the minute is Isak. I think the form that he is in right now, I don't think he gets into this team. And I think he's finding it hard to, like, even when he comes off the bench, he doesn't look like he's able to run or get around the pitch or like get up and help in some sort of way. And I think out of all the signs that we made, Isak's worrying me now. Like, it's not a case of like, oh, this is just a bad patch. Like, we're 4 months into the season. It's not. It doesn't need a preseason. I'm worried about where he could go and what's going on with him.
Well, like, I said it on Redmen the other week, and I sounded like a right spoiled brat. But I can't remember the last time I've been this unenthused about like a big money signing. Like, he comes, like, even when Nunez was coming on, I would go, oh, yeah, it's Nunez. You know, he can miss chances, but I'm excited to see him. When I see Isak coming on the pitch, I'm like, yeah, all right, I get it. He's a good player. But the difference is, the reason he was so good at Newcastle is the whole team revolved around get him the ball. You see it at City now with Haaland. The whole system revolves around get Haaland the ball. That's what it was at Newcastle. Gordon, Murphy, Almiron, even like all those players, they all went around to get the ball to Isak because he's the lethal finisher. Now he's in a Liverpool system where he's being tasked to come back deep, pick up the ball, try and progress play. Sometimes he's on the wing, sometimes he's in the middle, sometimes he's really deep in the center of the pitch. He's not being played to his strengths. Recently, we've seen Ekitike, the game's been played to his strengths. Kerkez, he's being pushed further forward while Jones drops to left back. We're seeing his strengths being played to. When Frimpong comes back, the way Gomez was playing against Brighton, playing to his strengths. Vert, number 10 at the moment, doing the same thing. When Isak comes back, I just don't see us finding a way to play to the way that he wants, which is going to get the best out of him. I think we've looked at him as, right, we've got draw here. He wants to come. We've got the money. Let's just get the deal done because we need another striker and we need to get someone who's just as good as Ekitike, maybe better. And it's just not showing at the minute that it was worth the monny.
Yeah,
our argument's come full circle here. You see the point I'm making now. I probably disagree with you, Lewis. I think we will find a way within the next towards tail end of the season, maybe starting next season, where we will revolve the game around Alexander Isak and we'll find ways for strengths.
I hope
I think that's the Haaland argument that you made. I can see us trying that. If you remember when Haaland come in, you know, that Pep style of play has changed so much now, much. And I can see Liverpool going down that route and like, right, we got this big forward, we're going to stick with him. We paid all this money. We know he's a great finisher of the ball. We've already had glimpses of that at West Ham away. Let's make the system fit him and play to his strength, and he's going to be our main man. That's what I think we're going to do, and that's why I can't see a world.
Is that not cutting off your nose despite your face, though? Because we've had that with Salah a lot this season, where you've tried to play specifically to that one player at a detriment to everyone else around him. So can we see that possibly with Isak if we do that same thing?
I suppose it's horses for courses, and it's one of them. You know, think about how much Salah like carried us for so long. Let's be honest. You know, last season he gets all the goals. You know, he gets the important ones. You know, the key performance and stick out in my mind is always Southampton away last season with Mo Salah. And then you've also got to think of the years before that, So as we had Mane, we had Firmino, but it was always Salah topping up the goal charts. I think there was the one year, wasn't it, where him and Mane were joint, but aside from that, it was always Salah putting the ball in the back of the net. Yeah. I think we want to have that key player again. And I do think it's him. I do think we'll invest in Alexander Isak and change the system to fit him.
I don't know. I think that if it came to it, the way I think it'll do is it'll come down to whoever's playing better, like, and who they decide to. I think they'll obviously want to try and get more out of Isak, but like, if Ekitike is performing well, and I think Ekitike as well, he's more dynamic than Isak. Like, he can do a lot more than, and like you see him even now. Like, I think he had 7 shots against Brighton. He has the second most touches of any forward in the Premier League at the minute. So he's heavily involved in the game and he's contributing in terms of goals. I feel like Isak, if you're going to go to that, like, Isak is someone who is just, you want him in front of the box. You know what I mean? You just want him sitting in between the two goalposts. And then if a chance comes, he gets it, he finishes it. But like, then you have to probably go out and buy more players to be able to suit that. And then you need him to deliver, which he hasn't been able to do so far. So it'll be interesting. I think it's one of the questions Slot is going to have to obviously answer as he progresses with this team. I think a lot of it will come down to Florian Wirtz and how he gets the most out of him, because Wirtz is a weird one, because people are saying, the Bundesliga and stuff, but like, then Ekitike is like standing 2 yards in front of him, like, and he's delivering. So I don't think it is the fact that it's the Bundesliga. I just think it's the fact that he's a little bit surprised by how physical the league is. I think that is 100% taken into it. And I think sometimes you see him take a touch and then he's almost slow to make his next decision. And he gets caught out on the ball, or he rushes a pass because he thinks that, like, say the last time he got tackled and he's like, I need to get rid of it quickly. And then he loses possession. But he doesn't really have like that kind of, he doesn't really like have any like mad attributes where I'm like thinking, like, he's not really that quick. Like, he's not strong. Like, he's a bit agile sometimes, but I don't know. But then you see glimpses of him where, like, when he gets the ball, he's like really good dribbling and like manipulating the ball. But in terms of Wirtz, what have you been unimpressed? Are you worried about Wirtz similar to like Isak? What do you think with Wirtz at the minute?
Love him. I love him. I can't help it. I'll let Luke go. Like, I think
I feel like so many Liverpool fans say this, but I think we love the idea of him being good. Like, love the idea of him being eventually good.
Mate, I don't like this narrative.
Yeah, I don't like this narrative. He's been class. I was like, he's right. I understand people can be good in games without obviously contributing, right? That's 100%. I completely get that. And you can watch a game, and this is like similar to like Hazard, Salah. You can watch a game and say someone's unbelievable. But like, at the end of the day, when you come in for big money, you need to be deciding games.
He's not lived up to it.
Yeah. You need to be deciding games for a player of his quality and the levels that we had reached. It's similar to a Salah. Like, Salah gets taken out of the team because he's not delivering. You know what I mean? And I think we're giving like Wirtz a little bit more leeway because he's obviously younger. He's coming to a new league. But like, at the end of the day, the money that he's come in for, I don't want to see a few fucking nice flicks. I want a goal. I want this.
I think, Joe, what it is, like, I know, Jamie, you've been matched quite a bit recently, but like, as a fan, I just love the eye test in the stadium. And like, Thiago Alcantara, it was one of the best footballers I've ever watched at Anfield. And he might not have been like, he had his great moments, to Porto goal, but he might not be in amongst it every single week. But the way he would control the ball and play the pass, and just the elegance about him, you just fell in love with him, especially when you were going every week. And you get them glimpses with Wirtz where you know the players in there.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Even when he was in that poor form at Anfield where he was shaking tackles, and he was jumping out the way, every now and again he'd just pick the ball up, take a few touches, and you'd be like, wow, he's silky. He's really, really quick with it. And I think West Ham away was, when we seen the game played through him a lot more, I was like, yeah, it's going to take a little bit more time, but he's coming. Like, and I think it is just a matter of time. The fella's getting played into a bit more form now. I think he's been better recently. I think he was really good against Inter Milan when he comes off the bench with Bradley.
Yeah.
Like, and I think obviously Bradley's pace helped the game as well, but I think he carried the ball into a few more dangerous areas to try and help Bradley get into the game and play him in on the line a few times. And I just think it's just a matter of time before he bursts onto the scene. It has taken longer than expected, I do agree with you. But the player's there. He is there.
Yeah.
You love him, Lewis?
No, I do. I'm in complete agreement. I might have just got carried away. I think with Vert, that game that we played the other day against Brighton, it's how quick he is to every loose ball. He's the first one to make a run in next to Szoboszlai. He wins every second ball. His passing's brilliant. I just like the work rate from him as well. Like, if he came in and he was sort of half-arsed in it, and he was like, oh, I know how good I am, and he wasn't putting in the effort, I'd be more annoyed. But you can see him trying. He's having to come back, and there were matches where on heat maps, he's the deepest midfielder despite starting highest up the pitch because he's having to come back just to get the ball. He's putting in that much defensive work. Every touch in that Brighton game was brilliant. I think he won the most ground duels of any Liverpool player on the pitch, bar Konate and Van Dijk. We're starting to see glimpses of him. And at the moment, he's nowhere near his best. We know that. But the small games we've seen so far, the small sample size over recent weeks, like you say, Inter, West Ham, the Brighton game, if that's him not even at his best, that's him just as a sort of average, decent player, I can't wait to see what comes next. Because in tight, compact spaces, he's so good on the ball and he's so good at breaking the lines and running in behind people. I'm just excited, and I think it is just a more hopeful than anything. I just don't want to admit that it hasn't worked so far. And you see people online who are like, oh, 007, 0018. I'm not arsed. Goals and assists are not the be all and end all. Curtis Jones is the best passer in the league this season, statistically, on paper, in all metrics. He's got no goals and assists. I don't care. Vert now is starting to appeal to the eye test, like Luke said, and I'm just really excited to see what comes of him now that he's being played in a system that seems to suit him.
Yeah, I think the eye test definitely. I agree with you. I see what you are seeing, and I see that like he can be. There is a player there, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, when you're coming in for big money, like there's only so many times you can faint without like scoring a goal or getting an assist. You know what I mean? Because I want to see him.
Yeah.
I want more for his sake. Like I think if he gets that first goal,
fucking hell.
E-Red, yeah. But like I want to see him get that first goal and like then maybe go on and get like a little bit more confidence. You know what I mean? Like I think after the goal against Sunderland.
Which one was the own goal? Was that the Sunderland one? Yeah.
Sunderland.
Yeah.
I said it was harsh at the time, but it is going off target.
Yeah, it was going off target 100%. But no, listen, I think there is a player there, but hopefully, I think the run of fixtures that we have coming up, maybe he'll get more opportunities. I think obviously with players' injuries and obviously players away at AFCON, Salah, like he will consistently be in the team. I think that was maybe a question mark. He got taken out and then he was kind of brought back in. Was he going to start? Was he going to play? But I think now he'll get that consistency in his game. I think what you said is a good point as well, Lewis. He was dropping back an awful lot to pick up the ball and try and create things, but now he doesn't have to do that because we have the three-man midfield, so it helps him out a little bit more and the ball can be progressed. I think moving on to someone who has impressed me a lot this season, or in recent games, since he's come back in the team, is Curtis Jones. I know they were saying there about some of his stats. Jones is one of those players, he frustrates me so much. Not in the similar way to Wirtz, but I think he's 25 now in a few months. So he's been at Liverpool like his whole career. He's never once been a consistent player, but he always goes through these patches where he plays really well. So you know that level is there, but he's never able to continuously show it. And then inevitably what happens is he maybe picks up an injury or he dips out of form, he gets taken out of the team, and then we start again. Like, is there a way we can see a consistent good Jones in the team like we're seeing right now? Can he keep that up going forward?
If he can stay fit, yeah. That's been his big hindrance. Like, I think Jones has been cursed with the fact that when he got that goal against Everton in 2019, the expectations were just too high. He was never going to reach the sort of pedestal that people put him on at that point. And he's not someone who's going to particularly steal the show. He has scored some brilliant goals in the past. We know that. But I just like that he's found consistency at the moment, because that's all we've wanted from him. We've just wanted a good string of performances that can just keep him in the team. And now under Slot, the other day when he was playing, he'd be in the double pivot. He'd drop to left back. He'd allow Kerkez to venture forward. Sometimes he was drifting out to the right wing. Sometimes he was the highest player up the pitch. it's a daft comparison maybe, but he feels like a sort of Jordan Henderson, James Milner style player where you could plonk him anywhere on the pitch and he will do a job for you. And like I said, like his passing stats are brilliant. He's in the top like 6% for passes attempted, passes completed, pass completion rate, passes into the penalty area, passes into the final third. He's making 3.22 shot creating actions per 90. Like he's found his rhythm, and he's not someone who's going to steal the show by scoring goals or making major assists, but he's consistent. And at the moment where we can't buy a win, or we haven't been able to over recent months, I want that consistent player in the team who can control the tempo. If we need to speed it up, he can find a ball in behind like he did against Brighton. If you need to slow it down, he can do that. If you need him to cover a fullback, he can do that. I want that level of reliability at the moment where things have been very unstable and we've not been able to get a sort of foothold into matches over recent months.
What do you think, Luke?
Yeah, I think receiving the ball on the back foot recently has been his biggest strength for me. Sort of how quickly he's turning. He's sort of receiving the back foot and then he's turning instantly, going, trying to find the forward pass. That's a little bit of agency that I think Liverpool have needed of late. And he's brought that in his last couple of appearances. What I don't like is him doing 4 Cruyff turns in his own box and then getting applauded for it on Twitter while I'm stood there in the stadium screaming, clear the ball away. And he's just like, just turning. And I'm thinking like that. There's the old Curtis Jones coming out, the other fella who chews the ball, and he's on it a little bit too much and doesn't know when to release it. That has happened less recently, but that sort of element of his game is still there. And I think he just needs to be reminded of that by the manager sometimes, of how well you're playing when you're receiving the ball, having 4 touches and firing it on, and you're constantly doing that. That's when you're at your best, not when you're taking 25 touches, looking for 4 different options and trying to play the killer pass. If you can go, turn, play the killer pass, excellent. If you can't, go, turn, move it on to someone better than you. You know what I mean? And that's the way I think he needs to play. And yeah, honestly, going back to that, and honestly against Brighton at the weekend, I was in the Annie Road as well in the lower. I couldn't get a great read on the game because when you're so low at Anfield, sometimes you can't see the shape. So it's hard to get a good read on the game and see where we are. And I was just looking over the top of the net. And just honestly, I was absolutely screaming at him. Honestly, I was fuming.
No, he's just one of them players that I think when he's good, but when he's bad, he is bad. Like and that's why, like I know what you were saying there, Lewis. Like consistency is really important, and I think that's something this Liverpool team has definitely missed. And I think as well with how bad Liverpool have been, it's just like you play on merit. Like Salah got dropped because he wasn't performing, and on merit he should have been dropped. So that was the right thing to do. And I think Jones right now is playing well, so you keep him in the team, and I think that's the right thing to do. I just want him and that's why he frustrates me, because I see that in him, and then I see the old Curtis Jones that like takes too much out of it or goes backwards. And you know that he has the ability to be able to go on and be like a really good player in this team. But yeah, I just want to see it more consistently. And if he continues to show it as he is this season, or since he's come back in the team, then I think we have a really good player in our hands. I do like the fact as well, though, that he's sort of stepping up and being a bit more vocal in terms of addressing the media and discussing everything, where like Salah's been getting stick for it. And Jones has sort of took it upon himself to be like, well, I'm not going to shirk from it. I'm going to come out and speak about everything. I like that we're seeing that side of him a bit more. Yeah. But yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments. A few people in the chat at the minute. My guy, I like the channel. Thank you very much. These are all very welcome. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It kind of leaves a good segue there, Lewis, into the biggest talking point of the season so far. Probably like the biggest talking point in football of the last 12 months. Obviously, it's died down a little bit now, but Salah got his wish to come back into the team. Was it his last game for Liverpool? I don't think so. I think he'll be back after Archon, chomping at the bit to get back in and win a Champions League or a league title if we've somehow found resurgence from it. But yeah, what do you make of obviously how Slot dealt with the situation? I want to get your thoughts on that, because like Slot obviously, it was a really difficult thing to be put into that situation for a manager that obviously. Player FC comes into it where everyone's backing Salah in that moment almost, especially online. But what do you make of the situation and how it was dealt with? And then when he came back in, what do you make of Salah's performance or response for being dropped?
So I agreed first and foremost with the decision not to start Salah. I think that was the right thing to do. I think after everything that's gone on, the way that the team sort of progressed during the past week without Salah being in the team, I think just to stick him straight back in and say, right, means nothing would be very sort of not deflating, but it's, if you get what I mean, I don't think it'd be the right call. I think it's the right decision just to leave him on the bench and then bring him on later on, just to say, look, everything that's gone on, it's not all water under the bridge. We still need to play the best team that's going to get us the results. And the team that's been getting us the results recently, we're not going to shirk from that. So I agree with that. The Salah situation, I'm very sort of, because on one hand, I do think Salah has been a big recipient of the criticism that we've received over recent weeks and months, but that's because of how good he is. It's because of the standard that he set himself. Let's not get it wrong. Last season, Salah carried us at points. Newcastle away, we weren't in with a prayer in that match last season, and Salah came on and made the immediate difference, and suddenly we find ourselves 3-2 up. Should have won if not for a Kelleher mistake. He got us so many points, best individual season in Premier League history statistically. That's why I do think he's been met with the criticism, because he's not dragging us through matches at the moment. No one is, other than Dominic Szoboszlai, arguably, and Ekitike. So I understand the narrative that he has been scapegoated, but you can't come out and say what he did. If you're gonna discuss the manager, fine, do it behind closed doors. If you want to come out and say, I've been dropped, I don't like it, that's fine. But the moment you start saying I've been thrown under the bus, the club have threw me under the bus, got no relationship with the manager, it's been premeditated. And it's, once again, like Carragher said, he's only done 4 mix zones. One was when he broke the goal scoring record in 2017-18. One was when we won the Champions League. One was when he wanted a new contract. And one is this. Every single one has been centered around him. So it's premeditated. He knows what he's doing. I think Slot's in the right for dropping him to the bench, because he has not been contributing goals or assists to this team. And last season, he'd have matches where he wasn't contributing anything to the team other than goals, assists. They're not there. He's not providing a lot for this squad other than shot-creating actions, which you've got other players in the team capable of doing it. So I think Slot has handled it as well as you can do, given everything that's been going on recently.
Luke, I know you were fuming with him last week.
I feel like I'm speaking into like an empty void about the situation. It just hasn't gone away yet, has it? It's going to blow over soon. Like,
they'll be talking about it until he goes back, I'd say.
I know. He was right to drop him. I've said that before. He was right to drop him. You can't speak about the club publicly like that. I agree with Lewis, definitely. I'm kind of happy with how it played out, because essentially how it played out was Salah actually got a lot of minutes, because obviously what happens with Joe Gomez and one of the lads needs to cover it right back. Calvin Ramsey was probably sat on the bench crying his eyes out, bless him. When's he going to get a league sort of appearance? Sometimes, fresh right back on the bench there. What do you bring on? Mo Salah? Of course you do. He's Liverpool's best player in our entire Premier League history. So, yeah, if he was staying at this moment in time, I think he actually would have done him some good, because I think he's in a position where he could have played himself into the side. Even with Frimpong and Bradley coming back, I could still see us putting one of the midfielders there in the short term until we're definitely secure on their fitness, and then playing Salah further on. I actually think he had a really good game against Brighton, and he probably should have got himself 2 goals at least. But I think there was something in the back of his head thinking, I'm going to pass this ball instead of shooting it, where the Mo Salah of last year would have just hit both of them chances straight at the goal and put them in the top corner. Where I think the one where he lays McAllister through and we sort of fumbled it away, he should have just hit that one. And the one where we're breaking through, you've either got to play the ball straight away or just ball log it, mate, and beat the man, because we know you can. So,
it's funny, like, because I feel like he was actually overcompensating and trying to get the team involved in terms of the assists. So like you're saying there with the passes, maybe when he should have shot. I think he was trying to say I am a team player and it's not me. He's almost trying to prove a point, which I think is good, because you're getting the response that you want from a player who's at that level in terms of contributing to the team. Now, I don't think he was scapegoated, to be honest, because I actually think he didn't get as much criticism as some of the other players, because everyone was just it's Salah. Do you know what I mean? He should be in the team regardless. And even before he got dropped, I feel like people then were we should maybe bring him out of the team and see what it's like, because he's not defending. But it wasn't a case of, he's not contributing to the team or anything like that, or it's all his fault as to why we were losing, because I think there were so many issues. But I think how it's actually played out has been absolutely perfect. I think it makes a bad decision. Absolutely. Everyone said it was the wrong decision. He gets dropped. Maybe the conversations are going on behind the scenes. We don't know. He gets dropped and then we obviously go on and win the game, which makes it even better. As you said at the start there, Luke, like winning games helps change the narrative so much. So then they say he's going to be potentially in the squad for Saturday. He comes back in. Joe Gomez goes off injury, so it's not like he's coming on for 20 minutes where he can't do anything. But he's on for like 60 minutes of the game, so he gets to impact the game in maybe the way that he wants. He gets an assist. He overtakes Rooney for the goal scoring contributions, all-time record in the Premier League. And then he goes off to AFCON happy and the kind of situation settled. I don't think there could have been any of a better way for the situation to end, because it could have got nasty. Like if he had left and maybe he was at AFCON saying messages about Liverpool or being asked about it, because he would have been being asked about it in press conferences and stuff. Obviously being the captain, he would have had to speak a lot more than if he was at Liverpool. So the fact that we've come out in this way, we still have our undefeated record. Listen, I think they could have went a lot worse, but we're lucky in terms of the way that it went. But yeah, I suppose then, looking ahead, how are we feeling about the upcoming games? So we obviously have Spurs next. We were saying there at the start before the stream, Spurs, Leeds, Fulham, Wolves, not in that order, and then Arsenal away. Are we confident? Is the confidence back? Are we potentially going to go on a little run? Like we get to Arsenal, what's that? 10 games unbeaten if we're going into that game. So what are we feeling?
I'm going to be negative. Just one game at a time. I'm not even going to like sit here and go, yeah, next 4 a piece of, mate, we lost to Brentford this season. Like, you know, we struggled
Forest at home when they were 17th.
Forest at home, like PSV, no disrespect to them. But yeah, I can't tell. I really can't tell. At the moment, things look good. And that's the most important thing. And I think against the Tottenham team now, this is the toughest team we've played in terms of the last 4 Premier League matches. But they've at the same time, they've got really bad home form. I think they've got like the joint second worst record at home this season, tied with West Ham. We've got to go there and we've got to make a statement. Not in terms of blow them away 4-5, 6-0, although I'd love it. I just don't want us to go there and sort of stand off. I want us to go there, the same mentality we had at Brighton, take the match to them, go for that defence. Because Thomas Franks, if there's any manager who's proven over the years that he can dismantle Liverpool, it's Thomas Frank. He's done it for Brentford. So we just got to go there, play it smart, and just try and put in a good performance against Tottenham, who, let's face it, are there for the taking at the moment. And then after that, like you say, Fulham, Leeds, Wolves, the matches we should be winning, but Leeds, we've just drew 2-3 all. So anything can happen at the minute, man.
Luke, how are you feeling?
Yeah,
have you got your ticket? Have you got your ticket for Saturday?
Of course I have, mate. I'm going to answer the question, unlike Lewis. I'm joking.
Answer the question.
I'm not going to dodge the question. Then I'll say, listen, I want to be looking at the next 3 games and seeing 9 points. And I think the hardest game is going to be Tottenham. But if we can beat Tottenham, there's no reason why we can't be on, in the top 4 coming into the new year. And the top 4 is so tight. Everyone's dropped so many points. You've got Aston Villa, who have like won the last 5, and like I've had this resurgence. When at the start of the season, everyone was going, "Oh, Villa are a bit shaky," and that's how quick a season can turn. If we can string together the next 3 games, and I'm just thinking Tottenham, then 2 games against lesser opposition at home, what we should be winning. You know what I mean? Obviously, we had the defeat to Forest, we've had them blips at home, but we should be winning our home games. That's one of the sort of rules of football. Just win your home games. If we can just win our home games and pick up 3 points at Tottenham, we're in a really, really strong position. And then we can go to Arsenal and get a win at Arsenal. Mate, title's back on, you know what I mean? And I'm living in a small world delusion, but that's the hope that I have. Just to touch on Tottenham, what Lewis said, they are the worst. They have got the worst home form, but conveniently won their last home league game, which is just how everything sort of goes to Liverpool. And then if it does turn and we can't, get a win there, if we get a point, I'd still be up with 7 out of 9, because it's a tough place to go, Tottenham. If we lose there, though, I think that's where you started. Then I'm going to start in reality. Then we're going to be like, right, we haven't turned this corner. We've got to defeat. We can't straw the wings, like sort of string the wins together. I'm actually really worried about Fulham away because we just never seem to be able to win there. I think I've gone Fulham away like 5-6 times and only ever watched us win once. Like we just can never get
it's a terrible
we could just never ever get a result there, and I don't know what it is. I'm hoping if we can just get a bit of momentum now and build on it, that would be good. And it would also lead us nicely into January. And if we can get a win at Marseille, we're looking nailed up for top 8, and suddenly everything's nice and rosy again. That's the Marseille world game I want to live in.
Yeah, that Marseille game is going to be tough. Like, I think they're fourth or something in the Champions League. Like, there's a lot of players playing well, like Greenwood and Aubameyang. I think Aubameyang is like the top scorer, one of the top scorers in the Champions League. So it'll definitely be a difficult game away. But to the question at hand, do I think Liverpool are going to be in a tight race? Do I think they're going to win those games? I think the Spurs game is interesting. I'll answer that one first. The Spurs game is interesting because, yes, Spurs are terrible at home. They did win their last game. But I feel like every team that goes there, like, usually tries to sit back. So I think we'll be a little bit more, we'll obviously be more defensive than what we have been, but we don't want to sit back. That's not how we play football. So I think it's going to be a scoring game. Like, it was 6-3 last year, and I think it was just two teams that wanted to attack. So I don't think it's going to be 6-3 this year, but it'll definitely be a high scoring game, a good game to go to.
I'm not sure. I think sorry, Jamie, I'm putting in. I think given their recent home form, I know they won the last home game, but aside from that, I think Thomas Frank will actually be quite happy to let us have the ball.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. What I would say is with how we're performing, I know obviously came back against Sunderland, which was great, but I would like to see us be put under a little bit of pressure and how we deal with it. Because I think with like the Leeds game, when they were 2-0 up, I was like to my dad, and he's in the chat there. I think I seen him put in a message. I was like, the tight race is back on, and then Leeds scored 2, and I go, tight race off. And I feel like every time you put pressure on this Liverpool team, they collapse. So it'd be interesting to see, especially over these next few games where the opponents maybe are not so tough. And I think Spurs, similar, if you put them under pressure, they could also collapse. So it'd be interesting to see how Liverpool would deal with those kind of situations. That inevitably will come throughout the season, because I want to see them be able to kind of build on it. And listen, like Premier League, I think it's going to be very difficult to win at this point. But Champions League, if you get into the top 8 and then you go on a run in the Champions League, like we've seen worse teams than this Liverpool team go on a run in the Champions League and win it. Not the best team wins it every year. Sometimes you need a little bit of luck. And then hopefully we have a good night out in Budapest. But in terms of how I think the next few games will go, I think it will be 7 points. I think Fulham away will be tricky. I'll probably take a draw from that now. So then you're probably looking at 8 from 12 going into the Arsenal game. I'd love to just beat Arsenal to take points away from Arsenal, just to like make the title race a little bit more interesting. Because City are like hot on their heels. They're kind of gathering a little bit of form. And Arsenal right now, listen, they obviously have a few injuries, and they don't look as imperious as they did at the start of the season. But like, we're the champions, we're going there. I think we should show a little bit about us to go and try and get a result, even though it will be difficult. Like, the Emirates is another horrible place for us. Like, I think we in the league. When was the last time we won there in the league? I can't even remember. I know we won the FA Cup there.
Yeah, we drew last year, didn't we? We drew 2-2.
Yeah.
Sorry, I missed the question. I was looking at stuff.
When the last time we won in the Premier League at the Etihad, or sorry, not the Etihad,
the Emirates. Oh God, I can't even remember. You know, obviously there's that FA Cup game that comes to mind, isn't there?
Yeah,
the Diaz goal for you now.
Yeah, you're looking a while back, I think. Then.
No, I'm trying to think. It wasn't like Klopp days.
No, I think
the last time we won
19. That'll be 2021.
The last time we won at the Emirates was 2022.
Oh,
was that in the league?
Yeah, that was the Premier League.
It was still the Premier League.
Oh, really?
That was.
We've had some crazy games there, though. To be honest, like obviously there's that game that comes to mind where they had that weird sky cam. Do you remember that one where it was like traveling along the pitch instead of like being on the broadcast angle, and we got done by an offside goal there that shouldn't have been, and we had one of ours disallowed that was a bit dubious. Yeah. So we've had some like really, really horrible games there in the past. What's the mind is that why are we playing Arsenal midweek? Like, it's just so ridiculous. I know the games get. I know they get drawn out of a hat, essentially, you know what I mean? They're randomised, but just to have Liverpool Arsenal on a Thursday is just absolutely ludicrous. It's Sunday,
you're still gonna go
Sunday 4:30 material. It is. I am probably still gonna go. Yeah.
But yeah, my dad there, Dave Story, asked a few questions. Asked him about the transfers for January. It was something we had in the agenda. I suppose there has been a little bit of pickup with, I think, obviously with the injuries that we have. Semenyo has been someone that was talked about. Is he going to be a potential Salah replacement? I think we definitely need a centre back to come in and at least, even if he doesn't start, but at least compete with Konate and Van Dijk, because at the minute, like Gomez, he's made of glass. Like he can't stay fit. You see, he plays 3 games in a row and he's like, nah, I'm out. So we need a centre back. But yeah, Gahey and Semenyo is someone talked about. Is there any kind of other players that you kind of have your eye on, especially like, well, obviously we're getting to see a lot more players in the league. Maybe some players that have caught your eye, or are you just kind of set on Gahey and Semenyo?
I mean, I would love an Elliot Anderson. I think at some point would be great. But Gahey and Semenyo are definitely the two that if you twisted my arm and said 2 players to bring in, they're the 2 that are like right at the top. The only reason I'm not. I mean, Semenyo is obviously getting linked with City and stuff, but they've got the Pep uncertainty at the minute. But Gahey, I think I saw reports yesterday or today that were saying he wants to wait until the end of the season because he'll get like he gets like a bonus or something if he gets to the end of the season without being signed on a pre-contract agreement or something like that. It might be bollocks, but he's one that I might see us waiting until the summer to bring in, if anything. I hope we don't, but yeah.
If that is the case, who would you like? If that is the case, listen, we do wait. Who would, as you got no other like defenders in mind, you'd have like maybe someone to buy or even just buy? Or
I'd love a Castello Lucaba. I think Castello Lucaba is a really good ball playing centre back.
Versatile as well.
Great. Versatile, can play it right back if you need him to at a push.
Ozan Kabak, maybe.
Ben Davies,
bring him back.
You know.
Yeah, that's how it feels, though, doesn't it? It does feel like we need a break glass solution now, and it's not Gahey. It's who is it going to be? Like,
I feel like because Liverpool, they're happy to wait on players, right? But I think in those instances, they're not as desperate as they are at this moment in time. Like, imagine Van Dijk got injured tomorrow, we'd be absolutely done in for the next kind of 3 or 4 games. You know what I mean? Like, you'd be taking draws on all of them just to get us through to January before you can sign someone. So I think that could happen in February. We're dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think if we're relying on Konate and Van Dijk playing every game in the Premier League and Europe, then we're in real trouble, especially if we're getting into them late quarterfinals, semi-finals. Yeah. If we can get there, then I think we really are sort of dancing with the devil a little bit, to be honest, because one of them will get a knock, and then is Joe Gomez going to be fit? You just don't know. And then suddenly you're playing Andy Robertson or Wataru Endo at centre-back.
Christ.
Do you think? Definitely a centre back. Do you know who's actually decent at the minute and he's playing well? Murillo. He's not like he kind of. Yeah, he does. He steps out a lot, but I think he's like that aggressive defender that can maybe cover that right hand side. I know, like he's probably not a big option that you would maybe want to spend loads of money on, but I think Gahey is someone that they just want to go after, and then I think that would be the right thing to do and go and spend the money, whatever it is, like 20 million if they have to buy him just now. Do you know what I mean? But in terms of the forward areas,
I was going to say, we should probably do the Semenyo chat, shouldn't we? Like, I think, Anton Semenyo, if this is the system we're sticking with, we're going, this is the blueprint, the one we've seen in recent weeks, I think Semenyo could really thrive, because he doesn't have to be so overly reliant on his pace. Because don't get me wrong, he's a quick footballer, but he's not lightning. And I feel like Liverpool's solution at the minute is we need someone who's lightning. But if we're going to play in this sort of style and manner, I think Semenyo is the perfect fit. If we're not, and we're going to change it down the line, I just want someone a bit quicker and a bit exciting. And I just really want to buy Tony Gordon. Like,
Anthony Gordon. Yeah, you said that last week as well.
Mate, he's so good. He's just lightning fast, isn't he? And like, it just like, I think it's the bit of the storyline as well. Me like him being at Everton and then being at Liverpool.
You just want Newcastle. We'll be signing Jacob Murphy next.
I know. But I do really like Tony Gordon. He's probably one of my favourite players in the league who doesn't play for Liverpool even when he's not performing, just because of how quick and explosive he can be. It's just probably a bit of a shame that he's got a bit of a hot head. Otherwise, I think he'd be viewed as a bit more of maybe an asset for the top clubs to be going in and trying to poach. Because sometimes he can have a hot head and get himself, a silly yellow or a stupid red, or just do something daft. A little bit like Nunes at times.
Yeah. He did it before we played them in the cup, didn't he? He got sent off against Brighton, was it?
Yeah, so it was the FA Cup, and like it was that game went to extra time as well. But I think it was even before then. It was just something really stupid and careless. I think he said something to the ref, got himself booked for dissent, and then he just shoved somebody, and then it was second yellow, and he was off.
Yeah, Gordon, I don't know. I think the money that you're talking for the difference that you're going to get, like, is he that much of a big improvement on Gakpo? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think this season, definitely. Semenyo, I think, is the one. Like, he's so... He might not sort of suit what Slot wants, but like one thing that's really big about him, and this is in comparison to all wingers in Europe's top 5 leagues this season, he's in the top 1% for blocks, the top 16% for clearances, and the top 3% for aerials won. He's actually someone who he's great going forward, but he will come back and help defend. And I think that's something that we've really been lacking a lot of from our wingers at points this season. So I just think Semenyo is the perfect candidate at the moment for what we want.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Obviously, we spent a lot of money in the summer, so it'd be interesting to see if Liverpool go back into the market. I think they have to, probably with injuries and with form, like we've said there. But yeah, they're not really. Usually, after they spend a lot of money, they just like kind of go quiet then for a while, and then they spend big again, and then they'll do that. Like that's the way it works. But I think they have to go and spend more again to obviously fix some of the holes that they have left. Because we obviously bought a lot of players, but we lost a lot as well. Do you know what I mean? And like we haven't added loads to the squad, especially in forward areas. Like you think of like last year when Nunes was out, Diaz was coming in. Obviously Jota was there. Like everyone was kind of rotating in between, and then Salah was having the season that he was having. So it was just kind of had like 4 extra forwards rotating between 2. But it feels like now Isak's kind of picking up a little bit of injuries. Gakpo's obviously injured now. And you only have really Ekitike to kind of chip in. Chiesa doesn't seem to be getting a run in. So yeah, it's a difficult situation.
I think that's a moment of praise really for how versatile the sort of attackers were last season, the ones we had. Is there was instances where you could put Darwin Núñez on the left that we've seen a couple of times. There was Luis Diaz playing the false 9 for the majority of the end of the season, and everyone could sort of interchange and overlap. And I think we as supporters thought Ekitike was going to be that player who we sort of plays off the left, but Slot just doesn't seem overly keen on it. Federico Chiesa is a right winger, but I'm thoroughly convinced that Arne Slot just views him as a centre forward. You know what I mean? And it's one of them we could do with a really versatile footballer who could play everywhere across the front line.
I've seen a report out today that apparently he's like he just doesn't have Chiesa in his head as someone that can start games. Just doesn't have like. Apparently, after the game against Plymouth last season, he was absolutely fuming with him.
Everyone was awful in that match.
I know they were all awful. They were all awful.
Joe Gomez went off injured as well, by the way, and he was one of the only senior players, and he went off after about 20 minutes. Like,
yeah. Well, I don't know. But like, it's what can he do? I think even people forget about it at the start of the season. Leone got injured, and that's the only reason Case is in the Champions League squad. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like the fact that he didn't even have him in the squad for the Champions League just tells you a bit like where his head is at with him. Like Rio got in ahead of him, and he hasn't even played any minutes. Do you know what I mean?
If I was Federico Chiesa, if I know I'm not going to play, I'd be looking to move on in January for the sheer fact of like he's such an elite level footballer. If he can get the game time and get played into a rhythm, like he was at least main man at the Euros when they won it. Like, and the fact he's not even touching that squad at the minute, I'd be fuming if I was him.
He had the chance to leave in the summer to get full-time football, like you said, to be in the Italy team ahead of a World Cup in America. Wins us the match against Bournemouth, makes the space for Engamoa to get the goal against Newcastle, puts in the match he does against Southampton, and his reward for loyalty is
equalises at Crystal Palace away as well. And I know we lose that game, but honestly, we've had this conversation a few times, and it's like, all right, shit's at the fan now, Federico, can you come on and save my job? And it's like, you don't even play me, like, and he comes on and he did it a few times, you know what I mean? He come on, it
he scored. Remember, he scored against Newcastle last year in the Carabao Cup as well. That was forgotten.
Yeah. Like, he's had some really big goals and big games, and it's just like I said, it's just not happening for him. Aki Stanley, man.
Yeah, I suppose then before we wrap up, predictions then for Sunday. We'll do actually team selection because obviously we have a few injuries. Do that and then we'll get your score prediction. Luke, I think you said what you say last week for Brighton. You said 2-1. I said 1-0. So we were.
I said 2-1, yeah, because I couldn't see a clean sheet from a mile away, but we got one. So maybe Brighton should have took a few of the chances. Let's be honest, but
I think we should have scored more though as well. I think like on the day we definitely were deserved winners.
Bit wasteful.
Yeah, exactly. But I think, like, listen, we're just a bit wasteful, just the way we are a bit at the minute. But team selection. So I suppose Alisson in goal. Right back, who are you going with? If Szoboszlai is fit, you can choose him.
Are we hoping Conor Bradley could play?
Yeah,
Is Conor Bradley back? I think he's still out, no?
Is he still out? Yeah.
Well, no, sorry, no, he was on a suspension. He was on a suspension.
Suspension.
Oh, yeah.
So Conor Bradley is hopefully going to play football, Jamie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Reds over here, always at it, aren't he?
He's the north of Ireland. He's wrong.
I'm hoping Conor Bradley's going to play. Otherwise, Joe Gomez, but like Joe Gomez can't play because he's made out of glass. So
yeah,
I would rather we play an actual right back there this week. If Mo Salah was around and trying to get in the team, I probably would bend a touch and maybe play Szoboszlai at right back, even though I don't think Szoboszlai's totally happy playing at right back, if I'm totally honest. But yeah, I'd probably play Bradley and add into Milan when he comes on. Like, the lad looked really good and overlapping. He looked great. So if we're going to play really narrow and he's going to be allowed to overlap, he could cause a lot of issues.
Yeah. Centre back, Konate and Van Dijk, because that's all we have.
Yeah.
Left back, Kirkaz or Robertson. Where do you stand with like that kind of debate, I suppose? Do you think Kirkaz is there the run now?
Yeah, I think. Go on, you go, Lewis.
Oh, sorry, I think, like this whole system now where you've got Jones dropping to left back and it's allowing Kirkaz to go forward. That's where you're going to see the best of Milos Kirkaz, because he's not yet out and out defensive minded left back. I think he's had like 2 good games in that role, and that was Everton and Arsenal. And even then, that's up for debate. I think he's better when he's just pushed further up the pitch in a creative sense. And at the moment, it's working. So we need to stick with what's working for us at the minute. So I think Kirkaz getting game time is really, really big.
You were saying, Luke?
I'm in agreement. At pre-Brighton, I was really big on Robertson. But then after Milos against Brighton, I'm big on giving him that freedom to overlap and get up that left-hand side, especially if Gakpo's not around. So, I'm Kirkaz as well.
Yeah, as you said there, Lewis, it's a good point. Similar to like Szoboszlai or Gravenberch on the other side, they have cover now a little bit more. So like they have that freedom to go and kind of show off their attributes, which is getting up and down the pitch. Do you know what I mean? And they have the space then without, say, Gakpo or Salah clogging up when they actually go in those runs, and they can be found out wide and try and do something. So right, Alisson, Bradley, Konate, Van Dijk, and Kirkaz. Midfield, who is going with?
Midfield, are we going diamond or are we going pivot and wingers? I think we've got to go diamond, haven't we?
Yeah, I have to go diamond, yeah.
Yeah, I think it picks itself, doesn't it, really? It's just going to be Gravenberch, Jones, Szoboszlai, and then McAllister at the front of the diamond, who's arguably being a little bit protected because he's maybe not got the legs. Because I think I would quite like to see him play on the right-hand side of the diamond and give Szoboszlai the freedom to push on, but he just doesn't have the legs to cover. So that's why I've got him at the front.
Do you think so? Szoboszlai, Jones, McAllister, and Gravenberch. Do you think you want to start Wirtz, or are you going to have Wirtz further ahead?
I'm going to put Wirtz up front.
I don't know. I think you might go Ekitike, Isak again. I think with Salah gone, I think Salah could definitely work in that too. Like if you had Salah, Ekitike, and Wirtz in behind, like that to me is even like I'm picturing it now. Like that's scary. So like that would be interesting to see if he plays that way when he comes back, because then he still has what he wants in terms of the midfield, and you still get the quality of Salah up front closer to goal. But I think he might drop McAllister. I think he might go Jones, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, Wirtz, and then Isak, Ekitike. I think that's the way he'll go.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer that. I think of the two, but we're basing this on the fact that Szoboszlai is 100% going to be fit for the match.
Yeah, we don't know yet.
Yeah, that's true. All right, cool. It'll be a little bit up in the air. We probably won't know until the press conference over from Arne Slot. But score predictions. What are you thinking? It has to be a scoring high.
Loads of goals.
Yeah. I hope you travel all the way to London as 0-0.
No.
like that gammy game. I like that gammy game you gave me and my dad tickets there. The 1-0 loss.
I know, we got beat 1-0. I know. Terrible. I mean, I think it's going to be a high scoring game, I'm totally honest. I just think we'll outscore them though. So I'm going to go 4-2. Oh, well, there we go.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. I'm going to go 4-2. I think we might get done on the break a couple of times, but I do reckon we will have a lot of the ball. And so, yeah. Who's playing from Tottenham at the minute? Richarlison still?
Yeah,
I don't think he can score any of them.
Yeah, he's banging in a few at the minute. He's playing terribly. This is what, like, I do a live on Monday with a Spurs fan. He goes, he's playing absolutely terrible, but he just like pops up with a goal, and then it's like, oh, Richarlison, yeah, he scores, but like he's not good.
Attacking lineup in their lineup in the last one was Vicario, Van der Ven, Porro, Romero, Spence, and then it was Kudus, Bentancur, Archie Gray, Kolo Muani, Richarlison, Xavi Simons up front.
Yeah, if I see Richarlison in front of that away end pretending to be a pigeon, mate, I'm on the pitch. I tell you, honestly, I absolutely hate him.
What's your score prediction, Lewis?
My heart's telling me like 3-2, but my head's saying like a 1-0 or something. I think Liverpool Tottenham's the most underrated Premier League fixture in the season. It doesn't get the appreciation because it's so good, but I think the way Thomas Frank deploys his teams with that double pivot, he's going to try and sit deep. I think they're going to make it a nightmare. So I'm going to go 1-0. 1-0 to us, I think.
1-0, but we'll take it, mate. A win's a win.
Yeah, win's a win. I'm the opposite. I think it's going to be end to end. I think both teams have the ability, maybe not Spurs as much, but I think Liverpool definitely have the ability to put Spurs under a little bit of pressure. But I think with that, they'll leave gaps at the back that Spurs have shown that when teams open up a little bit, they're able to get at them rather than having to go and take it to them. I think this game suits them more. So I'm going to go for a high-scoring draw. I'm going to say 3-3. 3-3.
Mate, you even support? God.
I'm an E-Red. I'm logical.
Jamie's going to be tweeting Slot out after he gets the draw score prediction.
No. I'm Slot in. I'm Slot in. He continues to lose loads of games, and I'm still Slot in. But obviously I want us to win, but I don't know. I need Liverpool to give me a little bit more confidence. I think the Leeds game scared me. I was like that. I was fuming after that game. Like I haven't been that angry after a game in a long time. Like when Mrs. was trying to talk to me, and I was like, just shut up, talk to me. Just don't talk to me.
See, I didn't really have that feeling because being there, you just knew we weren't going to win. Like as soon as you scored one, you were like, right, that's it then. God.
As soon as Endo came on the pitch, it was off. Oh, there we go.
Well, like say we played West Ham. It was like 2-0. They didn't really like. Obviously, Paqueta got sent off, so then we just like that game just fizzled out. Sunderland was just dead. We were just so flat against Sunderland. Then the Leeds game was like 2-0. We get put under a little bit of pressure. Kanate has a brain fart, and we then go on and draw the game 3-3. So like every time we've had to be put under a little bit of pressure, or we can see like a stupid goal, we then collapse. And I feel like Spurs will get those opportunities, and Richarlison will be doing his pigeon dance in front of the away end. So like I think that's what's going to happen.
I think my high score prediction is more the fact that I don't think neither team can defend. That's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
My heart says 3-2. My head says 3-3. There you go. Right. Well, that is it for Thursday Takeover. Obviously, next week is Christmas Day, so
see you there.
So see you next week. So thank you everyone for joining. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to drop a like and subscribe. I'll show the lads links to their channels in the description as well, so make sure to go check them out. But lads, thank you very much. It was a pleasure as always, and hopefully another win on Saturday. Keep the momentum going. But thank you.